The star student of Sigmund Freud, many said Carl Jung would be the one to further Freud's ideas to greater heights. Jung, however, broke away from Freud. Jung believed the subconscious was much too deep and mysterious to be broken down to the sexual impulse alone. The following is a true story of one of Jung's clinical experiences, which informed his theory of the subconscious. I was consulted by a man who held a prominent position in the world. He was afflicted with a sense of anxiety and insecurity, and complained of dizziness, sometimes resulting in nausea, of a heavy head, and difficulty in breathing. This being an exact description of the symptoms of mountain sickness. He had an unusually successful career. He had risen with the help of ambition, industry, and native talent, from a humble origin as the son of a poor peasant. Step by step, he had climbed, attaining at last an important post that offered him every opportunity for further social advancement. He had actually reached a place in life from which he could have begun his ascent into the upper regions, when suddenly his neurosis intervened. The fact that he had all the symptoms of mountain sickness was highly appropriate to the peculiar situation in which he found himself. He had brought with him to the consultant 2 dreams of the preceding night. The first dream was as follows. I am once more in the small village where I was born. Some peasant boys who went to school with me were standing together in the street. I walk past them, pretending not to know them. I hear one of them, who is pointing at me, saying, "He doesn't often come back to our village." No tricks of interpretation are needed to recognize and to understand the allusion to the humble beginnings of the dreamer's career. The dream says quite clearly, you forget how far down you began. Here is the second dream. I am in a great hurry, because I am going on a journey. I hunt up my baggage, but I cannot find it. Time flies, and the train will soon be leaving. Finally, I succeed in getting all my things together. I hurry along the street, discover that I have forgotten a briefcase containing important papers, dash breathlessly back again, find it at last, and then run towards the station, but make hardly any headway. With a final effort, I rush onto the platform, only to find the train steaming out into the yards. It is very long and runs in a curious S-shaped curve. It occurs to me that if the driver is not careful and puts on full steam when he comes to the starlight stretch, the rear coaches will still be on the curve and will be thrown over by the speed of the train. As a matter of fact, the driver opens the throttle as I try to shout. The rear coaches rock frightfully and are actually thrown off the rails. There is a terrible catastrophe. I awake in terror. Here too we can understand without much difficulty the situation represented by the dream. It pictures the patient's frantic haste to advance himself still further. Since the driver at the front of the train goes thoughtlessly ahead, the coaches behind him rock and finally overturn, that is, a neurosis developed. It is clear that, at this period of life, the patient has reached the highest point of his career, that the effort of the long ascent from his lowly origin had exhausted his strength. He should have contented himself with his achievements, but instead, he is driven by his ambition to attempt to scale heights of success for which he is not fitted. The neurosis came upon him as a warning. Circumstances prevented my treating the patient, and my view of his case did not satisfy him. The upshot was that events ran their course in the way indicated by the dream. He tried to exploit the professional openings that tempted his ambition and ran so violently off track that the train wreck was realized in actual life. The patient's anamnesis permitted the inference that the mountain sickness pointed to his inability to climb any further. The inference is confirmed by his dreams, which present this inability as a fact. Welcome to the end of this video. As congratulatory offerings, we have displayed videos that we guess you might like if you liked the video you just sat through. You're welcome.